Computer. Okay. This is VChat. What is today? 9/16,
9:16.
2025. Okay. So
I finally
I'm
feel
sitting
better.
here on my heating pad, Kathy, and you can tell us about your adventure in the beginning.
You're ready?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good and bad and okay. Oh, yesterday was unbelievable.
I can
Anyway,
tell.
when you get together and talk with a bunch of beekeepers, there's one guy who keeps bees like you do. He always talks about single broods and he overwinters nukes. So I had a nuke that swarmed. I have everything timed. I knew that there was hatch cells in there. And then I caught that little tiny swarm, which I boxed into a cardboard nuke and let it go for a week. And we're talking about my options. And I said, well, option one is if the one's not queen right, I can combine them.
Yep.
He goes, well, if they're both queen right, he goes, you can have two nukes. And I said, you're absolutely correct. So I got home. I went to the first nuke. And I went right to the bottom box. And in the bottom box, I saw the queen. So I took the bottom box and moved her over. Now I have that nuke over there. Put the top box down. Went to the other nuke with a small cluster, and she had already capped brood in a week.
Wow.
I said, she's beautiful. So I put them together, and now I have two nukes to experiment and overwinter with.
Okay. Now I have something. They're called four overs, 4x4s, and they're in one deep. And if you would want to borrow one, I have those. So I
Okay,
can meet you halfway or something.
he told me what he does is, and I actually made room on the stand before I moved them because the one I moved it behind it and turned its direction.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they,
That's fine.
and, you know,
Yeah.
she, yeah, she was in good shape, and they're both in good shape with. I started feeding the one that I moved because the other one had a lot more stores. So
Mhm.
when eventually, in a couple of weeks, I'll put them together.
Mhm.
Put them together, and I think and I'm going to try to do what Arden suggests. And he says you'll be surprised at how well they overwinter. So
Yeah.
I was really excited about that.
What do you mean by putting them together?
We'll put them
Like just
side by side
gotcha.
so they can kind of, they're closer together, and it's a close stand. So
Hmm.
all f five of them will be close together, which is good.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
wind
I
block.
always shove mine together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
because I have a wind problem up here, so for wind block. So
Yeah.
and I get in there and I'm going through and I'm checking all my hives, and a couple of them are completely winter ready. They're heavy, they're fully stocked. I'm happy. I know which ones I've got to feed. My mite counts are down. Yay, yay,
Yeah.
Kathy.
I know.
Then,
I know.
well, no,
That's
then
all the
Kathy
time.
did
Huh?
a really big mistake. Okay, I've been really good about keeping my yard clean. I've been washing everything out, not letting them clean it up, being really careful. I had four wet frames in a nuke box. I put it out by my garden, way away from the hives. They never touched it. So right before I went on my walk, I moved it down to my hollow on the other side of my property, which is closer to the bees. Took my walk. The bees are foraging. You can hear them on the goldenrod. Yay, yay, yay. I come back up my driveway and it looks like a swarm, but it's not a swarm. So I'm walking in it because that's what I do when I have swarms and they're not nice. So I walk around and I'm watching them. And then I said, holy shit, I got a robbing situation here. And it was my fault, my stupidity. I ran back and
Happens.
I got stung in the back of my head. I ran back into the house. I got my screw gun, my swarm with no robbing screen.
Mhm.
I took a sheet. I got that soaking wet. First thing I did was I went over and covered up
Sorry.
my mess.
Sorry.
I went over to the big hive that they were really attacking and shoved up my robbing
No, it's so
stain on it.
good.
Closed it down. I sat there in front of it, just monitoring for I don't know how long,
Had
watching it going in and out,
It's
making
got
sure that there was
oh,
minimal amount of openings. I got it settled. The other nuke that they were bothering it, I covered the back end of it with,
this
because they
had
were trying to go in the back for some reason. So I covered that with a wet sheet and I shoved grass in the entrance.
Hmm.
I caught it right as it was starting, thank God, or else I would have
Hmm.
lost my whole apiary over 4 wet frames.
Yeah.
So you're
Huh.
not supposed to put wet frames by your hives for them to clean?
Not this
Right.
time of year, and they weren't even by my hives. They were a few hundred yards down the hill, but it started a robbing frenzy, and it's a lesson to learn. I mean, I knew better. I figured they had started feeding again. They're starting to forage and bring in nectar. I'd be okay to bring it closer. It was a big mistake. Fortunately, I knew how to react, and I'm pretty sure that I saved the hives. And my question,
Mhm.
Phyllis, is how come, well, one hive stood out alone, so I can see how that got hit. Why did they only pick like 1 or 2 hives? They didn't touch the other ones.
I don't have an answer for that one. It's I don't know unless it's they can smell something on that
Yeah,
hive
you
that they
know,
can't smell.
The one hive I was in because that was the nuke that I papered together. But the other hive I wasn't even in, and the ones that I was in that I put feeders on, they didn't even get near them. It was maybe
Huh.
because I got there fast enough, because it
Yeah.
just
They-
happened.
Yeah, they just came upon that one. Yeah, you just never know which one they're going to pick on. And but usually, like I have top feeders, and so when I use those, I have to make sure that, I ratchet it down and
Right.
then I duct tape on the top lid and on the where I set it onto the box below. And if not, then they just come to them.
Yeah, it looked like a
And
swarm was forming in the center of my whole apiary.
sure, sure.
So I was trying to shut it down as fast as I could.
It's really weird that because I feed mine all the time. Like, um, I
Right,
just went through some of my nukes up there and they were wet, but so I just took them and threw them out in the yard. And then when I was finished, out of the bee yard, and when I was finished, then I gathered them up and walked them, I don't know, 30 feet, down where like Debbie's tent was up during
right.
the retreat. And that was it. They stayed right there. And then
It,
my out yard down here, I just put them across the fence, where the cattle are, and tried to secure them there. And they were only like 15 feet
I
from
know
my
it was
beehives, and
wild.
then that was fine. I've The only time I have ever had robbing like that is if I am working the hive and I pull out a frame, and this is in the dirt. I've never had it
Right.
with a flow on, but and I take the frame out and I set it like in front of the hive or beside it while I'm working the others, and that starts them. So then I'm like, hey, or I crack it open to work and they've decided, okay, I smell honey, and they just come in droves. And
Yeah, it was out
yeah.
of because the day before I did pull frames out and I try to put them in boxes. I bought
Mhm.
Pro Nukes, which are even better than the cardboard ones.
Uh,
I usually frame. I had no problems. In fact, I was really happy of how calm and my whole yard was when I was doing the split and everything.
uh,
But that just it blew me away. It was
yeah.
wild. It
Okay.
stung
So
me.
to pull from this for you newbies, um, what did you take away from what items you may need to put in your arsenal for this time of year?
Something,
What did she
something
come
to
in and
cover up
grab?
something to cover them up.
Yeah, like a sheet, a full sheet. Yeah, and you can gather,
I keep a couple
just to do
sheets
it.
with my stuff. So I knew
Yeah.
where I knew what I was grabbing, and I have a
And
spigot by my door. I just went them real fast, but it's always good to have a couple with you.
you don't, I never wet mine, just saying, because I'm out in the field, right?
Right.
So don't feel like you have to wet it. I mean, you can come back and spray it with water or whatever. But she had access to water, so that's that's a good thing. It's just because it makes it lay, heavier. And
It does.
but now I had a little bit of robbing because we put our escapes on today, and that's another thing, Kathy, that when you put escapes on, how do they know that those bees are leaving that honey and it's free? And so I learned after the first year that we did them that every cranny has to be, taped.
Right.
But yeah, and I found a thing on, I didn't repost it because I wanted to do an experiment. Well, it's he did it with trash bags, and he put now oh, what's his name? Canada, Ian Stepler.
Yes.
He does uh material like like air netting, and he had them made, and he when he puts the escapes on, then he puts that material on, and we will have it next year because we have some material up there. And but I did trash bags because I saw this on one of the big commercial places. And well, one, I couldn't find white trash bags. Well, I took my trash bag out and it was like, duh, it wouldn't even go over the lid. So it was like, oh, crap. So we were pulling honey, and I had to cover them up because it was out in Elkin. So we ran to the dollar store and I got black, um, and it was still not, so you need like a 50-gallon or 30-gallon or whatever.
What do
What?
you
I didn't hear you. Oh, 50. Okay. 50-gallon trash bag. But anyway, I cut it. And what I have now, I use the white ones, and I just cut down the side and down the bottom, and I wrap them and they fit perfect. And
Good.
so, and I've got two uses out of them. But you talk about something that is something easy. You just put it on there and tape top and bottom and around it, and you're done. Where with a sheet, you have to, when the wind blows it, sometimes it moves and they can get up in there, but they cannot get up in this one. So
Yeah, I
something
had
neat
a pocket
to think
knife and I
about.
was tucking the sheet on my butt on
Yeah,
my straps.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
So if they're
Yeah.
wild.
already on there, how do they get out if they're already like robbing it? If you put a sheet on and stuff.
Well, see,
Well,
go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I said the one hive that was getting robbed, I put a robbing screen on it. And
If you don't have one, you can
right,
use grass.
yeah.
I
See what
don't use
happens,
grass.
grass.
Pluck up some grass and stick in there, and just give
That
them
way
a little
the bees can
little hole.
protect it. They can
Yep.
start protecting them and kicking them out. When it's wide open, they're all coming in at them. So you get them down to like next to nothing.
And once you go back, like give it 15 minutes or so, and you pop that lid, and all those, well, not all, but a lot of those robbers will just fly out, and then you shut it up again. So, but they're gonna fight and they're gonna die. But it's very weird that if you go back to that one hive that's getting robbed, or three hives, whatever, is those, because they're only in there for the honey right now. And then later they'll kill the queen, and if it goes on and
Right.
on. But if you take the lid off, just crack it, whatever, and they'll just come out in droves. So,
Hmm.
and then I use a smoker, and get more out. And
And
then
you'll
if
know for sure when you're getting robbed.
Oh
oh yeah,
yes. Oh,
yeah,
big
you
difference.
will. They kind of, they kind of, like, have you seen an orientation flight when the bees come out, turn around, and
Yeah.
just fly? Okay, well, it's kind of like that, except for they go up, and then I don't know, but they just it it kind of looks about the same. It's just that they're more and they fight at the entrance.
Yeah, you see them fighting, trying to kick them out. There's fighting back and forth. You see dragging and stuff. You don't see that in orientations. They let them land.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this was
So,
an
but if it
aggressive.
looks like an orientation to sit there, because I had one this morning when I was up there working the bees, and I was like, okay, what is this? So I, and it was bees coming in, and because it was around noonish, and then orientation flight, all that happened in that one. Well, it was three hives doing that, and it was like, okay, so I just watched it, and that's what it was. It was not robbing.
Yeah,
Right.
So,
because Sunday my bees were acting all crazy, and I kept telling my husband, I said, I don't know if I'm getting robbed. Something I've just never seen
mhm.
it before. They were just everywhere, but I mean, I watched them. I didn't see them fighting, but man, they were just coming and going like crazy at the
So,
entrance.
so if you see that again, then go up and throw grass or an excluder on, so they only have a little hole
They
to
only had the
guard.
little hole.
Oh, you
Oh,
had your
good.
excluder on,
Yeah.
okay, or
And
your
I didn't know
entrance
if
reducer.
maybe they were just, I don't know, they were just in and out. So like there was just so many and so fast in
Well,
and out. And I was just like,
it,
what is happening?
and
And they were,
it could be also that your hive is too reduced. So, I mean, that's something to think about too, because if there's a flow going on, you want that entrance reducer off
okay.
so they can come in and they can come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine around 3 o'clock. One hive, it seems one hive comes in, there's a big flurry, then the next hive does it, two over here. Next thing you know, they're all in the house. It's kind of fun to watch.
I was watching mine out there in Elkins, and they all came in about 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
2:30, 3 o'clock, and
Mine's
it was
about
just droves and loud. And but yeah, so but I have them all reduced to one single brood too, so they have to
wow.
wait their turn to come in.
Hey, I have a
So,
robbing question whenever you get a chance, please.
hey, go ahead.
I haven't been on here forever. It's awful. I
That's
feel bad
okay.
about that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's okay. Glad to have you back.
so I know my third hive, it got robbed. It got robbed because it's light as a feather. When I checked it
Mm-hmm.
the other
Mm-hmm.
day, and I've been out bucket feeding them out, and I was in Shanda's class on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
advanced beekeeping.
Yeah.
And she had told me, she said, get top feeders. So I ordered those from Man Lake when I got home. And I ordered a robbing frame
Mm-hmm.
for my third hive. Now, right now, I know, I guess, the bigger hives, because my other hives are big and thriving, and this one was little. This one was a split and there's a queen, she's laying,
That was my question. Yeah.
but it's not a mighty hive. Should I,
Well, you're fine. You can. Um,
should,
there's
whenever I
a
put top
woman.
feeders, I guess is my question. Whenever put top feeders in there, will that quit, or do I need to move the hive? Can I turn the hive around?
Uh, hmm. Well,
Or
you
do
can
I need
try it.
to just like cut the losses and maybe put newspaper or something between them and combine it with another hive? Because it's
No,
not, no.
no, don't kill the hob. No, you can. One, you have your robbing screen coming, so you can put that on, and that will save it for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I wish, maybe if I would get down to 5 to 10 hives, I would have them too. But because they are a good thing. But when you use your, did you get the normal man lake with the netting in the center of the feeder?
Yes.
Okay, so when you get that, which I have like 12 up there, I've never used them.
Mhm.
And so Kathy can tell you more about it, but you should take silicone and
Yes,
go
I read
around.
that. I read
Okay.
like some reviews about it, and I read that. I
Okay.
saw that.
Make sure your silicone is waterproof.
Okay.
Yes.
Big, big, big. I just redid one of my feeders because I pulled mine. I'm pulling mine out again. But you got to put the silicone down, or they'll get out and drowned. Tammy,
Aquarium silicone
yeah,
Yeah,
from the
it
pet
needs to
store.
be aquarium safe. And
that's
there's
what I.
one brand called Loctite that you can get at Dollar General that's aquarium safe.
There you go. Dollar
Loctite.
General. Yep.
Loctite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tammy, how many boxes is your hive in?
Well, it's right now it's two brood, but I need to condense it to one. That it's way too. I don't know what I was
That'll
smoking when I did that.
that'll make it a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to do that. But right now, what I'm worried about until I get this stuff from Man Lake, there's no honey in there. Should I put? And I had a sugar board left over, and I thought, well, maybe. But then I thought, well, I can't do that because they'll go in and rob that, right?
Well, not necessarily. They might be totally done with it by now. Go in one of your big hives and take one frame and, take it out and give it to the little one. You only need one, and that'll give them enough, to get going. And then, do you have any type of feeder at all, like a frame feeder or?
I do. I have a frame feeder.
Okay,
I
well,
could
put
put,
that
I
in
just
there
was
now.
afraid that they would rob it like
They
crazy. And
sh
then
they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. Like, in my bee yard, I have, a I don't know, 4 or 5 box um honey producer and a two box nuke right beside it. And and I have that all through there. I have 17 little nukes in my honey producer's yard.
Do you have
So
an entrance to do that box?
on mine,
Yeah.
yeah,
yes,
yeah. Well, that should
yes,
save it.
I
And if
put
you
it.
want, you could turn it if if it's sitting right beside a honey producer or a big hive.
It is. All three are sitting together.
Yeah. Well, you could. I mean, if you, it doesn't matter if you move it. I mean, they're bees. They're going to find it. But I think you probably will be fine. It's just that when you feed them, you can't spill any syrup, coming out the entrance or down the side of it on the outside or anything. You have to be so careful to not, and don't put anything in your syrup. Like these people out there, tell you to put honey be
Oh no,
healthy.
no, I
Yeah,
don't
don't
know.
do that. Yeah, just
Okay,
plain
so
sugar water.
okay, and I
He's
know
already
it.
reduced it. Rick said he's sitting over there. He's like, reduce the entrance. It's like she's already done it. He said, she's smart. You're all guys are all smart. Of course we are. So, but yeah, I mean, you were getting ready to kill her anyway. So why not trial and error and learn from it?
No,
So,
true.
Hmm.
and but when you do your top feeder after you get it silicone, then when you put it on there, then you need to do like we were talking. You need to cover it up, with a white trash bag to cut it and surround the very top where the feeder is, or duct tape it and where your lid, even if you have the, what are they called, Debbie? The
Tele
normal lids,
telescopic.
telescopic, yeah, lids, then they can still sometimes get up in there. And even if you have a inner cover on that. So you just take precautions and wrap it up, like the baby that you're gonna, try to save. So, but don't let anything, any cracks, even though your equipment's pretty new, it might be wobbly and there might be just one little crack. And when they smell that, then game's on, that's it.
Okay,
So, but
I listened to some of that conversation, but I was cleaning at the same time. I heard something about the trash bag. So you just literally just put it over the top and then you just tape it around it.
no, no, I didn't. I had to, mine wouldn't fit, but yes, that's what he did. But I had to cut mine on the side and on the top, and then I just wrapped it like that. I took two of them. One does almost a whole hive, and then the other one finishes it. and then you can put your ratchet strap, after it's all taped in, so they can't, but you have to watch down at the bottom. You have to tape it at the bottom too, which yours is going to be in a single, so you will have to tape it above the or around the entrance, because mine are all, honey producers, so the entrance is way down below. Um, but you're going to put yours in a single deep. So yeah,
And and that's so that they don't smell the honey. Is that what you said?
yeah, yeah. It's just a precaution so they don't rob it. And
Okay.
then, you
And I
can,
will have the Rob screen thing on too.
yeah, okay. You already have one of those.
No, I ordered it when I ordered the top feeder.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely do both of those. But yeah, you could start feeding now. If you have a frame feeder, you can just leave the second brood box on and put it in there and feed it and just do the same thing. And it you don't have you could take a sheet, or it doesn't have to be anything that I said, but you can just put over around so they cannot get, they can't smell any feed at all. So I
Okay.
had that up in my top feeder because I have wooden ones that I'm using right now. And one little crack where the boards didn't match up. Bees were coming and smelling that and going in. And they weren't robbing, but they were drinking the the syrup water. So, I pecked on them and got them out of there, and then I taped on both sides, because both had holes in it. So just be aware of stuff like that. That you stand back and look at your hive, and it's like any little crack. And even if you use a ratchet strap, which you won't see yours because yours is telescopic, but like mine's in migration lid or migrant lid,
You can see it better.
and I can see little cracks. So, I do that, and then if I ratchet it down and it's still up a little bit, then I duct tape that.
I
Okay.
used
When
duct tape yesterday. I think everybody should have duct tape in their
oh
be work
yeah,
box.
What
yeah,
about the
duct
little
tape.
hole that is on that top lid or
The
inner
top, yeah, the inner
that
cover.
hole?
Inner cover.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tape that.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's so, and you can, put napkins up in there, on that end where your hole for that is.
Question,
And
do you put that hole on the back or the front?
it all depends who you ask.
That's exactly right.
Debbie. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
too
it's
funny because I
whatever
asked
you want to
somebody
do.
that the other day. The
Mhm.
The
newbies.
book, the book says in the summer, put it to the back. You got airflow come in, go through the hive, and go out the back. In the winter, you turn it to the front. That way you don't have an air current going through.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
whatever is right, I don't really know.
Neither.
Like she said, everybody has their own opinion.
And I don't use them at all. So, are they needed? No, they're not
No.
needed at all. So what they're doing is taking from your telescopic lid, they're taking up space from your top of your frames to the top of the lid. So that's why they use an inner cover. So if your lid sits smack dab on your frame, or you can use, like I use,
Canvas.
duck canvas. Thank you.
Duck off.
I started to
Yeah.
call it carpet. Duck canvas. And so I lay that on my frames, or I just started using the bubble wrap, the, you know, silver bubble
Hot
wrap.
water heater
It's,
wrap. It's
yes,
silver.
yes, yeah, it's the same thing. But if you use the water heater, you can go into winter with that. But with my canvas, I take that off in the winter time because I'm afraid it'll draw moisture. But I like the canvas better because they propolize it, and then that's an antibiotic, laying on my bees. It's like their
Does
own
it help
medicine.
with that top or that inner cover with circulation so that it helps with moisture?
different people's got different opinions. Some people think we need ventilation and moisture. If you would have listened to Steve Rapatsky, he doesn't believe in it at all. He believes there is no reason to have ventilation.
I bought three
Yep.
moisture boards this year. I'm gonna try 3 of them. Just
I'm not
experiment.
doing any ventilation in mine either. I have holes at the top of my in the back because I oxalic acid sometimes when I can't get to the bottom. So I'm going to close those up, and then the quilt box that I've always used, I'm not using those this year. It's going to be on my hive, but I have the wire in it at the bottom of it recessed so I can feed under it. So that's going to be my shim, and then I'm going to fill it full of the insulation board. I'm going to put 2 or 3 of them in there, and then I'm going to tilt my hive forward. And then if any condensation comes in, it's going to go in the front and run out. That's, that's textbook. So we'll see if it actually, if they die or whatever. So, but I'm totally changing. I'm not doing anything that I've ever done before. So we'll see.
All right, I have another question as far as
Yeah.
I still have 2 deeps on both of
Mhm.
my hives,
Mhm.
and I've got a lot of honey in them. A little
Good.
bit of brood in the top brood box. How do I
Mhm.
reduce it down to 1? Because they need the honey, but I need to put stuff down. Or what do I do
Well,
with the top box, the top brood box?
spit it out. Is it edible?
No, because we did
You
that
said.
apple bar or whatever that was.
Huh. Well, the only thing that you can do with it is seal it, like put it in a trash bag, and you don't have to freeze it. Just keep it in a tote so no little varmints or no little mice things. But you can also put cedar chips in your tote, and it'll help keep the moths out of it. And then you can use it in the spring to either do a split or give back to them, and to fill up their thing. But yeah, and you can, you know, so when you set up a single brood box for anything, and well, let's do for winter. That's what I'm doing. I've done, uh, I don't know, I've done a lot of them, 2 out yards. So I have on the outside, I have a honey, and some of them solid, and some of them they're just putting it in because all their honey was up here, right?
Mhm.
So their brood box is a brood box. All summer they've had, 1 pollen, no honey, because I've always, I took it out. So now I've set it up to a honey, and then pollen, and then for the rest of them, it's like 7 to 8 broods, frames of brood. So that's hatching, and then they're backfilling it in. So you can do that, and then, like I said, take that, and when if you're in it enough, you could, just to help you out in your pocketbook, when you see that the brood has hatched and they're backfilling it, you could pull that and then put a honey frame back in that spot. Does that make sense to you?
It does a little bit. I mean, I was going to I have supers that have honey in them also, and I was going to keep those on them during the winter. So I was going to try to
Oh,
get
okay.
down to 1 brood box and then have a honey or a super on
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
But you have time yet.
Well,
You got clear through October. So
okay.
they're going to be eating out some of those frames you have, and then you can just take them out as they become empty. So you got time yet.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's been hot, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
my boxes are pretty
Mhm.
full, and that's why I ended up putting a super on the other one because it was full, and it's just like they need more room right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but it's just like I don't know how I'm going to get it down to 1 brood box and then have my super on top. But if I just give it till October, then I should probably be okay.
So it's okay to leave the deep in the super, right? For the winter?
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
thought that's
yeah,
what I,
yeah.
okay,
You can definitely. I've been doing it for 16, 17 years. This is the first year I've ever done single brood.
okay.
So
I have
yeah,
some that will not reduce to a single.
Okay.
That they'll stay at two.
Okay. So that's okay also. All right.
they
What, and
will.
I was going
That's what
to,
I've al that's what I've always said is I can't take this
Hmm.
big hive and put it down in there,
Into
but
one.
you just do it. If you want your bees to be in a single brood like I do, then you do it. And for 3 days they sit outside and then they find a place in there
Okay.
or they die. That's all there is to it. Because I've had, you know, Thursday I'm taking one of ours up here and it's got a medium, well, it's got a brood chamber excluder, queen excluder, and then three, it's got three deeps on it and a medium, and they're full of bees are everywhere in there, and that is going down into a single. It's scary as hell, but they, if like I went back yesterday to the Elkins one because I did them first, and it looked like Kathy was talking about, there was bees everywhere, and it's like, whoa. And so, but they all found their home and they hung out for 2 to 3 days, and now they're fine. Hardly any of them was outside,
Okay.
and they were all inside. They were just, I should have taken pictures because it was just brown. You couldn't even hardly see my frames. So, so I've always been like Debbie. You just can't do it. And it's like, yeah, you can do it. You just have to do it. And you talk about going out and like I did 30 hives the other day, all in singles, and it was so sweet. Pop it, find an egg, a queen, you're done. Go on. So yeah, I haven't been able to do that for a long time. So there's advantages, and we'll see about the disadvantages as I come out into the spring. But and you can, take that honey away from them, and you can put it out away from your beehives, and score it a little bit, and they'll eat that, and they'll put it back in their hive. So there's so many variations that you can do. And, it all
Brood's
depends on who you talk to.
brood's going to be reducing. You're going to
Right.
see less and less brood, and it is right to see less brood unless you have such a brand new queen that she's just busting loose yet. They're going to be slowing down.
Right. Okay.
And those bees, the ones that are living now, you know, they die every 45 days. So there will be, that cluster will be reducing too. And and then, like I've seen on the because they were in single brood, and that they didn't have two of them, but they're already starting. I mean, yes, they have open brood, but it's only like one little patch.
Mhm.
So before it would be two or three open brood, and then the rest of them, because when you run single brood, if you have a good queen, you have 7 to 8 frames of brood of all different ages, and then a honey frame or a nectar frame,
And
pollen,
she'll
and
she'll only lay in the space she has.
Right.
yeah.
And the workers she has.
So
In the
Phyllis, you
workers
were
she has.
asking me if I had enough room when I posted that picture. So if I inspect Thursday and there isn't room, then what am I supposed to be adding or no? Just let
No,
it be.
it was just a question. And Debbie knows why
Your
I asked
your
that, but
your hive wasn't so super big at the time I was there to think that it is too big for the
for
hive
its
right now.
britches, yeah,
So I'm just
yeah,
worried that maybe I got robbed. I'm worried now.
Did you have a bunch of wax crumbles all over?
white, white wax on the bottom
I
board.
didn't get in it. So what happened? So on Thursday last week, I checked the hive. It was fine and they were doing great. Well, I went to feed and I bought the medium frame feeder. Well, I went to go put that in and they were honey. So I was like, well, I don't want to pull their honey, the frames, if they're honey, and replace it with the
Right.
feeder. So that didn't make
Sure.
sense to me. So I was like, okay, now what do I do? So I went and got my jar that I used in the spring and filled it up and put a deep, empty deep one and did like I did in the spring.
Good job.
Good,
Hmm.
And
good.
when I went on Sunday to do, well, when I got back from church, I went up and took that off because I was going to do the oxalic acid thing that
Hmm.
evening at dusk. And I was like, well, to save time, I'm going to take that off because I didn't know if I could keep that in there. So I went and I took that all
You
off.
can,
Well,
but it just gets all over it.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I didn't know. So I was like, well, I'm going to take that off. So, and I didn't know if it'd be gone. Well, I opened
Hmm.
that and the whole entire box inside was full of bees. Like
Hmm.
the sides, everything. And I was like, holy moly, where did they come from? And then I thought, well, maybe
Hmm.
it's because I've never really been in it at this time. You know, I've always
Right.
done in the mornings and maybe they're just always in the, I don't know. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, they were acting all crazy and weird. And I was like, well, this is just really weird. So then I pulled that all out, pulled that box off, and then I did my thing for the day. And then I went up that night or towards dusk before it got too dark and did the oxalic acid. Well, there were still some outside and they were still acting weird. And I did the thing, well, and I covered the thing. And after 10 minutes, like even more was coming in. I was like, where are you guys? You guys should be in the hive. Where are you coming from? Like it's almost dark now and they're still coming
Hmm.
in. And I'm like, I don't understand. Then I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this at this time. Maybe I should wait and I should have done it in the morning. So then I was all confused. And then I went back up later at like 11:30 and then that was the picture of them hanging out there. And I'm like, there are still some like all bunched up there. Now they weren't all acting crazy. They were bunched up, and I was like, it's going to get cold. They're going to die like outside.
Hmm.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, well, maybe I was getting robbed. Maybe they were inside there
Well,
eating. And
that's not robbing. That
no,
cluster is not robbing. No.
no, I
Do
mean,
you
like
guys
inside
agree?
that box.
Did you did you guys see it? That's the cluster that was hanging out on the side. You don't get that when you rob. They go straight to it. They don't hang out on the box that they're robbing. They
Did you
go in the
see the
entrance
video
or
before underneath? Now that wasn't that was later. That was the next day, but they were still acting weird the next
I
day.
think you
Not as
had
bad.
orientation. You only have the one hive, so to be robbing, they would be having to come out of a tree somewhere. And
Well,
you
the
or your
didn't.
people up the
neighbor
road,
could
the
have.
people up the road have bees. There's
How
like eight
far?
Mhm.
hives.
How far?
I don't know, maybe a mile.
Yeah, yeah, they could definitely find yours. Yeah,
And I'm hoping not.
be a bar.
I'm hoping I'm just being paranoid because you guys are talking.
I think you're getting
Yeah,
paranoid. I opened
I
one
think
hive and I
so.
used a small box as a shim because I had some honey-filled comb to give them. And when I and I went back to get my empty comb, and it was packed with bees. The whole
Hmm.
box, it lined everywhere. So you know what I did? I shook them down and put them in the box and closed it up.
Hmm.
So I was
Yeah,
just like,
and
They'll come up like that. I mean, that's
yeah,
nothing to worry about.
okay.
no,
That's your own
no,
bees doing it.
that's
There was
fine.
just a lot. I was just shocked to see so many
Oh,
outside
that
and
box, when I
inside at the
opened it
same
up,
time.
it was covered in bees, and these two hunks of comb were there. And I shook the comb off. I shook them down,
Hmm.
gave them a little smoke. They all went in the box. Closed them right back up again.
And we always say that bees don't um, produce comb this time of year. I mean, we don't say we. I don't say that they don't, but hardly ever do they.
Right.
And especially if you want a frame pulled out, they'll say no. So I put a feeder in this nuke, and it's a 10 frame nuke, and and I put a feeder in there and just two frames, to hold the feeder because when you fill it full, the sides bulge out. And lo and behold, from the the roof, the lid, and it was about that big, and they made drone brood, and they were filling it full of honey. So it was like, you little stinkers. So yes, and then I had another one that had, did the same thing. They had a little bit of space and they made just a little one of
So should I
fresh
put the
comb.
frame feeder in? Should I have pulled the frames and put the frame feeder? Or I don't know
If
what to do
you
there.
if your super is um, um, full of honey,
Well, I have brood in
then
there too. I have both. It's not just honey. I have brood too.
okay. Well, is your all is your flow just hitting pretty good, Debbie?
Mine's just started yesterday.
Yeah, but you're not. Debbie's by her. That's why I asked Debbie.
Yeah,
So
I just started.
I would put the queen. I would find your queen and put her down in the bottom, and then shake them all. Just shake them, and then put that queen excluder on and let that hatch, and then they will fill that up. When the brood hatches, they will fill that up. But if you keep letting her do her thing, then you're going to go through winter with brood in there. So sorry, I got gnats.
I'm always
So,
scared I'm gonna kill her, shaking her down.
No, they don't care. They really don't
well,
care.
I can never
you just
find her. That's why I have to shake her down because
Well,
I
you
can.
shake them. Yeah, that just make sure you have an empty box when you're shaking them.
Don't
That
shake her
I,
or
down into the
or
frame
just
below.
put it, smoke them on there, smoke them out, like pull a couple frames and then smoke her because she'll run, and let her go down, and, and then whatever's left, if she's in there, she's in there. Put the excluder on there, put your super back on, and go back in 10 days and find eggs. Use your phone, take your phone and take pictures, and then, open it up and make it look, look into the cells. All you have
Been
to
able
do
to
is find
find the
one
eggs
egg.
and stuff.
Okay. Okay, great. So if you can look in the medium super, if you don't find an egg, then you're about guaranteed that she's in the bottom, and then you're good to go. But then you have to take all that off and go down in the bottom and find one egg. You don't have to find her, but if you can find one egg, then you're good to go. Put it back together and then let that hatch, and then they will backfill that in. And if you have one super for one hive, that's enough honey for them to get through winter.
yep.
So after I do all that, then start feeding.
No, not if you have a flow going on. Make them bring it
Oh,
in.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Depends
so
on how
confused
this flow
about the
goes.
whole
It's
feeding
iffy.
thing. It's so confusing to me. I don't.
Yeah. Well, if you would feed and they have a nectar flow going on with goldenrod, they will not eat that feed. It will sit in there and rot. You guys agree?
Yes.
Yep. So, I mean, but I wouldn't waste your money on feeding it until after, your dearth comes. And then you can, you know, if you don't want to take up a space, for your frame feeder, then you can always just open feed. And, you only have one hive, right? I thought you had two. You only have one? Okay. Well, then just get a 5-gallon bucket and fill it halfway full of 2-to-1 sugar water. And you know how to make that?
Mhm.
Okay. Then do that and just throw a bunch of straw, hay, wood chips, floaty, what's those, those little
Noodles,
tubey things?
Noodles.
Noodles. Yeah.
noodles.
Cut noodles up and put in there. And yep. I did that with my salt water for the hot tub, and the deer knocked it over. So,
How far away do you put that from the hive?
uh, I don't know. I'd go 20, 30 feet maybe. Oh, good night, honey. Mine's gone too. So, but yeah, yeah. So you could do that, and then, but remember you have hives, 8 hives or so down the road that you're going to be feeding too. So
Michelle's
yeah, you
Yellow
don't want to
jackets and
really.
bumblebees and wasps and
Yeah.
I've been feeding, open feeding, and I'm feeding everything. So
Mhm.
Mm.
Well, you can sit there like I do and go ping, ping, ping,
I'm
ping
not
for all the
open feeding
intelligence.
anything right now. Woohoo!
I just fed 20 gallons in my nukes today.
Well, I
So,
have a top feeder on the one nuke. I'm gonna fill that. I got one hive with a top feeder on it, and I'm watching them. I'm checking weights right now. A couple of my hives don't need anything at all. I
yeah,
can't lift
yeah,
them.
my nukes are very empty. I think they've sat in there and ate them. And that's another thing too, we're getting them up to weight, but it's only September.
Right.
So you have to check them again in October, and then in November, where you guys live, that's great. Now I don't know about Tammy. Um, she's way north, but what's your elevation, Tammy? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't. I can find
Yeah.
that.
Well,
I'm
is
at
it less than
2,400
2,000?
myself. 2,300. Check on your
Yeah.
iPhone. It'll tell
That's
you.
what I'm going to do
I
right
think
now.
we're 20, I think we're 25,
I'm
26.
23.
But anyway, because that means a lot. But because by the time November comes, I'm done feeding. And then if they're not up to par, then I put that wet sugar on them. And
2320.
then that goes, all the way over until March on them.
So if they're full, like I said, my deeps are full. I don't need to be feeding them. Okay.
No, no. Now you can take that, like I said, and change the empty ones put the full ones down in the brood box, and then they will bring in, to fill up the second box.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to get rid of your little super, your medium super, you could score, take your hive tool and open up the cells and set it out, and they will eat they'll clean it out. So that would help you to
Or
be ready for
harvest it?
next year.
Could you harvest it?
It says
No,
my
she had medicine on it.
yeah, it says my elevation is 686 feet.
Are you on your compass?
I just
Wow.
asked for what the elevation for Wheeling, West Virginia was.
No, look on your compass. Do you have a compass on your phone?
Yeah,
Uh, I
that's
might have
stationary.
got rid of it.
Because your
No, just go
compass,
in and
the compass will tell you on the bottom what your elevation is.
how do you say it?
1250. It's 1250.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's 2320.
So we're not up there very far.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I'm at
20.
25.
Yeah, I'm 2320.
I think
And
I'm
then you can
21
also
something.
That's why we've been
25,
flagpoles. The wind up
25,
here.
11. Yeah. So, yeah, in November, we can get snow in October. So, um, I try to have mine by weight close to it. And like I said, I don't worry that much anymore because they can live off of that sugar. So don't panic.
And you don't put that sugar on until January or later.
Well, they don't. I have to because I leave in
Leave.
December.
Right.
Yeah. And
And I
I
might even
I
do your method this year, Phyllis, but we were talking about that, the camp, just slopping it on
yep.
you use newspaper, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put newspaper down and take a 5-gallon bucket and and a big metal spoon and just dump
Yep.
it on there, and then I
Now, will we
pull it
talk
in
about
from the
this
side.
later again?
We
Closer
sure,
to
Yeah.
time.
we sure
As
can.
often as you want.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yes, I definitely need to talk about that again because I'm going to do the dry thing too, I think.
You got my phone number.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to do whatever
I
you
don't,
do, Debbie.
I
I
don't
made
do
my
the
boards, but
dry
then you have
thing,
to
the
use the
camp.
chicken wire and everything, or the hardware cloth. And
Yeah, yeah,
the only thing
yeah.
I think I'm just going to try the other method. It's easier.
hmm Well, if you did the camp method, what's that called?
Yes,
Mountain
camp,
camp or
Mountain camp.
camp.
mountain camp method, which is just newspaper and then just dump white sugar on it. Then you don't have to have a shim or anything. You can put it on your inner cover. But I don't have inner covers, and so I would either have to have a shim or a quilt box. And I have like 60 quilt boxes up there with, the the recessed wire. So I can feed under that. And then with them on, when spring comes, then I can put my pollen patty under there too. So, it's a really neat thing to have.
Yeah.
But if you have the inner covers, then you don't need my setup
So what
because that
is a
lid,
quilt box?
it's just a box that you can, they used to make
It's about a
use
super.
material. What?
I've used
Are they
burlap.
made out of
I've
wood?
used burlap on the bottom of it, just something to hold the chips in there.
Well, I ran out of wire last year, so I went up into my material and came down, and I will never use material again because they ate it. They went up and then the wood chips fell down on them. So I like the hardware cloth. It's number 8 hardware cloth that we use in the bee world. And then I use mediums and I turn my mediums over and then I cut the wire out and then I cut each corner and then put it down in there and then staple it. So it's recessed up in there and then I turn it over and all of them, which I made sure every one of them had a hole in the back of it for ventilation. So now I will put a cork or something in that hole for this year because I'm not doing ventilation.
So that's what a quilt box is. It's just a
That's,
box that you have screen on the bottom
yep,
or
yeah,
something. Oh.
yeah, and you can fill it full of wood chips or you can fill it full of insulation. Now, one year we did wood chips and put the insulation inside on top of the wood chips. So, and then on the outside, we put insulation. And I really like that, but I'm not using wood chips this year.
Hmm.
So, but that's what a quilt box is. And they have fancy ones and the ones that people are making in their B group club, they've got holes in every direction. And I think that's a little excessive. Um, so don't feel like you have to, put all these ventilation holes in.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I think is tilting your box forward. So the condensation will run out. And, it's amazing. I was listening to some YouTube the other day, and it's amazing how much water bees need during the winter. And they get it from that condensation. So don't try to take all the condensation out of your beehive. They need it.
What's
So
the insulation do you guys put insulation up under your lid?
I will this year. You can do the bubble wrap, uh, like I was saying earlier. It's a hot water tank bubble wrap, and it's silver. You can do that, or you can do the board. I don't know what is it?
Green.
Three inches.
Insulator board. Yeah. 3 inch.
Yeah.
I mean, 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
3/4
And
inch.
You'll
Yeah.
find it at Lowe's. It's just an insulator. Mine was green, and
Mine
I
was
just
Yeah,
green
put
too.
mine was purple. So pinkish
I'm green
purple,
and
it all
blue.
depends what company. I
And the
got mine
bees
at
don't bother
84.
that?
Oh yeah, they'll
No,
eat it. They'll chew.
uh,
Mine did. They chewed it up.
And
not
will they do that with the water
bubble
heater
wrap.
wrap?
No, no,
But I
but
also took that green. My other opportunity to do with that is I had those two little nukes. They were free 3-frame nukes, and I put that insulation down on each of the outside, and then kept those 3 frames on the inside and brought them through winter that way.
hmm I've also seen them like put on the inside because
I
the
put them
hive
on the
wasn't big
inside.
enough.
Yeah,
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 mine
you
are on
said
the outside,
outside.
but a lot of people put them on the inside. I put them right
I
on top
did.
of my lid.
And they'll chew
Yeah,
on it. When you open it in the spring, there'll be little green stuff all over the floor, but
yeah, it doesn't hurt them because they just
it
chew and
doesn't.
it falls down. Yeah,
Okay.
but nothing like a mouse. You get a mouse in there and they
Hmm.
love to eat that stuff.
Mhm.
So, yep, happy day. So, but yeah. So, you guys have any more questions? You think you
Wow.
figured it
Just
We
out?
one more,
confuse you anymore?
just one more question. When I checked
Sure.
my mic count drop on Thursday,
Uh-huh.
hmm
at what number do I need to treat again? Or should I go ahead and treat again because there were some outside the hive?
Those ones outside the hive will go in, and that oxalic acid is all around on the walls and on the frames, and they're going to get some of it
Okay.
because it's all on the inside yet. So
They're if they're hanging out when you do an oxalic acid, I load up
it
my
gets
gun
some.
again
I
and
do
walk
too.
around to the front and I spray them.
So do I.
Yeah, just because. So like I did them right after because I was over there and I wanted to see what the mite drop was because I hadn't did a mite drop on them or because they had honey on them. And so they were flying everywhere, but the front of it was just black and or dark brown with bees. So I put it in the back, did the ones inside, and then I loaded it up and went down the road and did like 4 at a time. And I don't, I'm sure it helped them, but it made me feel better.
Yeah.
And
So,
that is part of my opinion on when we're oxalic aciding from the back, and it does go out the front. I never thought that it was critical to put the plastic bags in there or block all that off because you are getting the bees that's outside and coming in because it'll vaporize out. Most of it goes up, but some vapor will go out front and it'll get those bees.
yeah, I clog mine off and I leave it for 15 to 20 minutes. And I did my granddaughter, I don't know if you saw her picture, but
Mhm.
she did her own hives this year. And we were, just chatting away, just talking and cleaned up and walked back to the house. And then my husband and I were driving down the mountain from their house and it was like, oh crap, we forgot to let the bees out.
Hmm.
So I called her dad and was like, "Hey, you going back down for lunch?" So he pulled the bags. But yeah, so and yeah, I think it's a good thing. Ian Stepler did a thing. I don't know. He did it in a trash bag, a black trash bag, and he just put it in there and let it fume all over on one of them. And then the next one, he put it in there and he closed it and he left it for 20 minutes. And that one that was closed up had more residue all over the wall of the bag than the other one did. So ever since I watched that 3, 4 years ago, then I've been doing that. And
The
so,
winter months when it's cold and I'm just doing it like in January.
mhm.
I don't close them up because they already have
Yeah.
entrance reducers and this and that. And
Yeah, I don't use entrance reducers on mine, so it makes it difficult because I use the big wire
yep.
mouse control. So mine do during the winter, but then, when I was here, then I would just do a double dose.
Right.
Mhm.
you know,
So
so
at what
instead
mic
of just
drop
doing
do I
4.
treat again?
How much was your mite drop?
Well, I don't know. I
She's
don't know till
asking, so
Thursday.
she
That's why I'm
has, you have a
Okay.
deep and
medium.
a medium.
Would just go ahead and do 8 since you have that
Yeah.
many bees in there. I would do two zaps, 4 grams each. That's one treatment.
No, I mean
3 days
And then
apart.
No.
it's 4 to 7 days is
Okay.
what the time limit is. Yeah. And if you miss a day or it's not, you're not gonna not, they're not gonna be
so
affected.
treat them
Like,
again no matter what the drop is.
no, you need to know
Eight.
what your drop is. That's the whole purpose of it.
Well, I already did the treatment. That's why I was asking. Like when I
What
checked
was your
Thursday,
drop if you did the treatment? Did you wait 3 days and count?
She
no,
hasn't
It's
pulled it yet.
Thursday.
She's pulling it
Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I'm
So,
asking. Like when I count
yeah.
Thursday, at what count do I
If I
treat
have
again?
3 or 4, I leave them on. Over 5, I would treat again.
But
And
you could
remember,
do it. You could wait and treat Saturday if you don't have, you don't have time and you're busy on Thursday. It's
Right.
not critical.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's very important to find your mic drop. So if you
Yeah.
don't do anything for them, go up Thursday and hope the wind's not blowing and pull that out and count it. And then, then go from there. If it's above 5, then make, do Saturday, your treatment. But then in 3 days, and okay, let me say this. If it's like 20, 30, 50, 100, and okay, but it's no big deal. It's no big deal. You're doing it. That's what's important. But if you get that high count, you don't have to put your mic drop board in there because if it's that high, you're going to do a whole complete treatment, which is 4 treatments, 5 to 7 days apart from each other. So if you did it on a Monday, then you're going to check it, you're on your 3rd day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So on Thursday, you're going to pull it and see what your count is. So if it's very low, then you're done for a couple weeks, because they're going to hatch and then your mites are going to come out. So, but then if it's extremely above 5 mites, then just don't even worry about putting your board back in there. Just do the
Okay.
complete treatment and it's 4 weeks worth.
Okay.
It's 4 treatments worth, should I say.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on the last treatment, on your 4th treatment, then you're going to put that board back in and then you're going to see what your counts are after that. And then if they're still high, then you're going to do 4 more treatments.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think mine's that high. Hopefully
No,
not.
I
It
would say
wasn't
not.
the day I was there. What, you had one?
And when Paxton came out, he said he
Yeah.
didn't see anything that made him think that I had any.
What did you get to
Yeah, you
treat
can
with?
tell by brood. Hmm. Yeah.
What is it?
What gun? Did you get a gun or a wand
That
or what
one
did you?
that Kathy recommended last week.
Okay.
How you
Good
like
for
it?
you.
It worked. The only thing I didn't know how you were talking about cleaning them, and I didn't know how to clean it. And the directions just said that you don't have to clean it, just add more stuff and it burns it off.
Well, and that one thing is said to put 1 scoop of water in there, and let it heat up. I
That
did read
helps
that because
too.
I did get mine also. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow, but
Well, I will tell you that if you don't clean it, I mean, with doing one hive, you probably won't clean it for a long time.
Right.
How many hives you have, Tammy? 2?
2.
Well, kind of the same thing. It's not gonna, but when I do mine, I do, if I have a yard of 20 to 25, then that's 50 times because I
Mhm.
do mine twice. So
Right.
that's 50 treatments that I'm doing within that hour.
Right.
Right.
And so by the time I'm done treating 50 times, then I take my drill and my little bushing um, whatever wire brush,
Wire
and I
brush.
put water in it. I put wire in it, and then, I make it so I can see the copper again.
You just
And
clean the
then I
bowl.
clean, yeah,
Yeah.
I clean both. I clean the spout. I have a clothes hanger that I've cut off, and I clean that too because sometimes it gets clogged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you
And then I
put
clean the
the
outside.
water in there and put the lid on, you'll see the steam come out, and you'll actually see some of the flakes of oxalic
Crystal.
acid come out a lot of times too. The water does a really does a good.
Job. Okay. Well, and
Mhm.
when it said only one scoop, it's just like, are they talking about the scoop that they gave you for the oxalic acid? And it's just like, that's not very much.
Well,
Yeah.
that's if you go and take a test, then they're going to say use 1 gram, and maybe it's up to 2 now. But
Too.
see you, Tammy. Good job. Love your questions. Good luck with your hives.
Good night, Tammy.
But we went to when I used to go to the bee conferences. They had a guy from Florida, Jamie Ellis, and he said he's big scientist up there. And once you get into the bee world, you will learn this guy's name and who he is. Wonderful person, but he's from Florida State. And so he said that you cannot overdose your bees on oxalic acid. And so Taman Reynolds and he and Jamie, they did an experiment, and they had, a hive. Well, actually, somebody else did this too. They did, I don't know, I don't remember what woman it was, but they did a hive with the 2 grams, and then they turned right around the next day and did 8 grams. Well, no, they waited 3 days, nothing dropped. So then they did 8 grams then on the fourth day and got like 52 mites. So one, they could have had a hatch maybe, but two, the more oxalic acid that you can use, the better the drops will be. If you only use 1 to 2 grams of oxalic acid, then you might as well you're killing your bees. You might as well just take
The,
out your
the
pocketbook and throw money up in the air.
Jamie Ellis is on YouTube. He's got this data on YouTube. You can look him up
Yeah.
and see what he says.
With
He's got a,
doing the
yeah,
OA treatments every month, does that build up a resistance?
No.
no, they
Okay.
do not have, they're not building. That's the nice thing about OA is that they do not build up a resistance as of yet. And it's been here for, I don't know, 10 years maybe. People have been using oxalic, I think, something like that. I know I've been using it for about that long.
I would say I know it's been a good 10 years because I've been here for 9 years, and when I was here, I was already using it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Just protect yourself. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And,
I need
Yep, I
some.
got all my gear in today. The rest of it came in today, so it's just like tomorrow. And does it really matter what time? I know that if you either do it early or late, the more bees will be in the hive.
yeah, it does. But if you're like me, then you got to do it whenever you've
Gotta
got some free
do it
time.
when you can.
Because,
Yep.
yep.
Okay.
And I mean, I even like when it's sprinkling a little bit, and I put a trash can lid over my gun and sit out there, and when it's just sprinkling, you can't fill it because you got your veil on anyway, and they're all in the hive. So I mean, you do what you got to do, and if you can never get there early in the morning or late at night, don't worry about it. If when you close it off and there's a bunch of bees that are on the front, just spray them. Just
Yep.
do another treatment. But I would advise you, Tammy, to take that outside and just put one little scoop in there, and also take a table or a teaspoon, um, mine's plastic and it's got burns all over, but if you use metal, the oxalic acid eats it. So you can replace your plastic, but and you too, Bridget, but get your scale and get a glass bowl and dump in, 4 grams of oxalic acid and then fill it up with see how full it is on your teaspoon. And then that, you can eyeball it. Don't go anything less than that. And like I tilt mine to the side and I just do a heaping scoop and then dump it in there. And I do
I have
that
a plastic
twice
scoop
on a
that's
big pot.
marked and half of it's 2 grams and the whole thing's 4 grams. And I actually put it on a scale and weighed it out first.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know that I know it's 4 grams.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I was going to say it came with a little thingy that says the little
Yeah,
spoon
find out
is 2 grams.
how much the little thingy weighs.
1.5, I think is that what it said, Bridget? 1.5 or 2.5? Yeah, I can't remember. I read the thing and it did say it was like either 1.5 or 2.5.
Well, you don't want to do a 1.5 to get up to 4 grams because you'll have to do it 3 times at least.
Right,
And by the time you're dumping it in there, then it's boiling up.
right.
Right.
So, because I don't know, like everybody is being taught now the first guns were like that because you put it in the lid and then you put the gun on top of the lid and then you hit it and then turn it over and it falls in. And then you have to hit the lid to make sure that it falls off. I have one gun like that. I absolutely hate it. Where my Jono, I stick it in there and my rubber lid is up here, silicone lid is up here sitting on the hob. And I take my teaspoon heavy and put it in there, reach up there and then put my lid on and I'm good to go. So I can't remember what your all's look. Is it the metal thing where you
Yes.
do it? Well, that's perfect. So you just push it, the plunger open and then put your thing and then shut it. That's awesome.
Yeah. It worked out okay for you, Bridget?
Yeah, I did a test run, like Phyllis
Good.
said. I did it just to see because I wanted to make sure that the battery on my side by side was going to work
Right.
and everything. It did well.
Good.
You got it pretty fast then, didn't you? No, we didn't
You know,
have it last
that was a
night.
great deal because that wand thing is almost as much,
Yeah. And the wand will catch your beehives on fire.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And they take
this is much
forever.
safer. Yeah.
Take you 20
It took
minutes
me
to
an hour to do 10 when I had it. It was like, this is ridiculous because I had 10 hives right here by my house and I checked it and I could run the extension cord from there. And no, we had a battery. That's right, because it was a stupid wand. But it took me an hour to do 10 hives. And now I can do it in 20. I can do it in less than 20 because it takes me about 2 minutes per hive with my gun from start to finish. So,
I
well,
changed my
good. I'm
bulb out.
happy for you guys. Yeah. But
I got new
that'll
cups.
save your
I
bees.
changed my bulb out, my copper bowl. I tested it with water. It's running good.
Night, Michelle.
Yeah. Good night,
Hey,
Michelle.
Michelle, before you go, if you go out tomorrow, it's Naked Jeep Day.
It's naked what?
Jeep Day.
Oh,
If she goes to
Never
the car,
heard of
she's
that
got to drive.
before.
Huh?
Never heard of that. I'll have to look. That's
Yeah,
not
I
going to be
just
good because the only place I plan to go is Bible study tomorrow.
take a robe with you.
Good
All
night.
you eat.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Yeah, and Debbie, why are you excited about Jeeps now?
That must be a middle life crisis.
For you or him?
Uh-huh.
my husband got
Well,
one in his midlife crisis. I should tell him to ride around naked tomorrow.
Thank God I don't own a Jeep.
Uh-huh.
Well, I won't have a vehicle tomorrow. Rick's truck broke down, so he's got to take mine to go help fix his. So I'll be
Oh.
slinging honey all day. If anybody wants to come and sling honey, you're more than welcome. I'm kidding. There's no room in there, only for me.
Uh,
So, but I got to sling honey before I pull this, so I have room to put it in there. So, but
Okay.
all right, I think we figured you guys out. I think we had a really good discussion today. Is there, I know you want to learn about how to get them to ready for winter. Is there anything else like topics that you would, like me to talk about and bring the others in?
not
Think
yet.
about it.
I mean, it's always
Okay.
like spur on whatever's happening like right now.
Right. Right. Well, I think we need to start doing like next month, this might be popping up. So you might, be ready to get you guys prepared for, because each month it changes. You know that you've gone through one summer with your beehives and you know how
Wait
different,
until you get to like
this year.
January and February. You're gonna go, I miss my bees so much.
Well, then you'll put on your winter coat and you'll sit out there and watch them. So
Yep.
I always did.
Yep.
So,
Do they
and
come
then when
out?
you get yeah, when they get about 32 degrees, yeah, they'll come
And
do
then
a
you'll see
poop
them poop in the
and
snow. You'll see the little piss and poop marks.
Really?
and
That's
then
I
and
didn't know
you
they
want them
come
to get out.
yeah, and then you'll see laying in front of the hives bees that are dying because they couldn't make it back to the hive. So then you're going to go pick them up and put them back in there and hope they come back to life. So
And some
yeah,
of them they throwed out. They might have cleaned the floor and throwed a bunch out.
Well, they're throwing out
right.
drones right now.
Well, I'm throwing them out too. Some
Yeah.
of them, when I put them down in the single brood, I guess they kicked them off of the frames. So when I picked up a couple of them, they were clustered in the bottom. So I've never seen this before. And it has to be because all the other bees, the workers, are occupying the frames that are in there. There's only 10 frames for everybody to be on. And so what did I do? I just
Well, I saw a
I took
couple of
my
them on the landing boards and they weren't letting them back in.
yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
I've killed a lot of drones in the last. Well, that one hive I killed 60.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah. But see, I
Well,
mean, right now I made them get ready for winter because you know, I minimized them. Before they were just ready for winter with, 4 boxes on.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I
it
was
makes a
thrilled in the
difference.
middle of September, beginning of September. I had one go out and get mated. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
you're very
I,
lucky.
I kept on
Mhm.
going, that I see young larva because didn't see any eggs, but I saw all this young larva that wasn't there before. I'm going, wow.
And then you'll have to watch her,
I,
put on there. Well, because you don't have that many, but because she might peter out.
I know.
She might, and then start laying drones and be a drone layer, and then you'll have
Oh,
to
then we
kill
could
her.
play that game again.
Yeah, yeah, yep. I had 2 years ago. This year I had 4 drone layers from the store-bought queens that I got from California.
I
So
last year I came out of winter with a laying worker, and that's the one I shared the love. And then when I got one the middle of this year, that's when I played the
I'm
game.
not saying lame worker. I'm saying drone layer. It's a
Yeah,
queen that
drum
has run
layers.
out of fertilized eggs. So the only thing she lays are unfertilized, which are drones.
Right.
Drone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of
So
those 2 years ago and I had to find her. Talk about shaking bees
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Girls, my
yeah. You
battery's
find her
gonna
and
die. It's beeping at me.
picture.
Okay, ladies,
Ah,
I gotta go.
All right.
all right. Thank you.
Great,
Appreciate
guys.
y'all.
Hi,
Good night.
guys.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Later.
Good luck.